Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us once again on Get Your Money Right. My name is Yvonne. How's your day going? Before we do anything else, just how are you processing everything of late? I'm going to be honest with you that it's been a little bit of a struggle, especially going to the not even just going to the grocery store, because that's one thing, but also with your utilities. Everything seems to have gone up in the last couple of months or so. And, blame it on whatever. I don't care what it is or really why. I do care. But the reason why I say that is that I'm just trying to survive it. So, how about all of you? You know, if you go to the regular grocery stores, which I just can't really do too much anymore because it tends to cost me more to do my grocery shopping there. So what I do is, like I was saying last time, is using Costco quite a bit. The big box stores. Yeah, you'll get stuff in bulk, and maybe you have to rethink how to use all the items. Yes, but still, that's what I do because I can afford it. Well, it's a struggle, let's put it that way, but it's easier for me to do that. Let me give you an example. So eggs, if I go to the normal grocery store, those are about what, $8 a dozen, which is highway robbery if you ask me. But at Costco, my husband went and got some for us, and he got a container of 18 eggs for $9. So there's savings right there. And I'm going to back up for just a second. When you use the big box stores and you get stuff in bulk, you really have to go there with a plan. You just can't go there thinking, oh, I'm going to get this cheaper, which you probably will, but you really need to plan for it. So, with all those eggs, I'm thinking, okay, what can I do with all of these eggs? And just kind of go from there. We're enjoying a lot of egg salad sandwiches or just plain old egg salad. And it's good. And the last time we chatted, I said get those fully cooked chickens for $5, 4.99, $5, something along those lines. Well, we got another one of those. We tend to get one about one a week now. Have a little bit for a couple of meals, and then I will boil that chicken to get the excess meat off, which you think you're done with it, but cook it off, and there's quite a bit. I have two decent sized bags. I guess they would be sandwich bags or a little bit bigger than the sandwich bags full of chicken. So one of them made chicken salad. The other one, I was just starting to look for a recipe for, have you ever had salmon croquettes? I remember as a kid, my mom made those and I go, those are so good. But you don't have to just make them with salmon. I found a recipe where I could use my excess chicken to make croquettes. So, finely chopped chicken, some eggs, spices. Pull it up in all recipes or something like that because there are some really good recipes out there that are relatively easy. One thing I noticed, I really liked one that said with Italian seasoning. And first of all, I don't know what Italian seasoning is, but I will make do. If I don't have all the ingredients for the recipe, I just make do. And that's what all of us have to do. You go to the store, you buy things, and you really have to have a plan. And, that's fine. If that's what I have to do, that is what I have to do for however long. Because, you still want to make sure that you're eating healthfully and that you're taking care of yourself, taking care of your families, and just trying to make those dollars stretch as best you can. So, just something to think about. And, I started this by asking how you're doing because it isn't just about what we're spending, we also need to save. Yeah, I get it. You're just trying to survive, but survive into the future too. So, I've been looking at my retirement money that I'm putting away diligently. and just doing what I need to do. I'm just going to share a story with you from years ago. I used to be in benefits, and meaning I was the contact person for when people were trying to pick their medical, dental, vision benefits during open enrollment. And I remember this one young woman, she was going to sign up for a high deductible health plan. And by that, you're looking at the ones that have an HSA, the health savings account attached to it. And she was saying, I'm just barely able to get by. How much do I need to put away? And that's an individual type of a question. You'll have to figure that out for yourself. But when it came right down to it, she goes, is $5 a paycheck okay? Yes. Anything that you can put away towards retirement is one step closer. Just keep that in mind. Put it away and do what you need to do. Take care of yourself and just make sure you're putting money away. I don't care what it is. If it's $5 a paycheck, it is $5 a paycheck. That will add up. So take care of yourselves and just make sure you do what you have to do. Listen, I've been there. I've made, as I said when we first started this, I'm not one of those making six figures. Nope, I will retire not having made that kind of money. And that's okay, because that's how a lot of us are. We can't look down on ourselves because we aren't making $100,000, $300,000 a year. You can't think that way. You can't compare yourself to others. Hey, have you ever heard of the millionaire next door? You don't know what people have. Folks are living frugally and have money, and that there are those who are living frugally who are just getting by. So it doesn't matter, just take care of yourself. Do what you need to do to put that money away, because it creeps up on you, age. And, I had a coworker ask me maybe last week. She says, when are you planning to retire? And I was kind of taken aback by the question, because of course I've thought about it, but why would I share that information with anybody else? Because a couple of things. People look down on you if they think you're not that far away from retirement, and they go, oh, you really don't need to work here. You don't really need this job. You don't know what I need. And for people who say things like that, it is so ill-informed. We're living longer. 80 years ago, 60s was what you could plan to live until. And that life expectancies are getting longer and longer and longer. My mother-in-law is 98 years old. And she kind of cracks me up because she'll say, I thought I'd be dead by now. And we're like, stop that. We're grateful to still have you. She is as sharp as a tack. Now, her body's failing her, sure, but her mind is sharp. She's very engaged. And that's how a lot of us are going to be. So you need to prepare for that time when you can't work anymore. You need to put money away for retirement. We really have no choice. We don't know what the future is going to hold, and we just have to take care of ourselves. That is life. That's how it is. That's what we have to deal with. Those are the cards we've been dealt. And there's people who go, well, I don't have a pension that I can fall back on. Well, that's a lot of us. Okay, so that's why I say we have to take care of ourselves. We don't know what's going to happen with Social Security. I think it's going to always be there in some form or another. But don't bank on it, because are you reading stories in the paper like I am? People who have retired who didn't really give any thought to how much it was going to take to live in retirement. There was one lady who's moved, I think she was in California, which is super high cost of living. And I think she moved to Montana, if I remember correctly, because she had friends there and thought that her $2,000 a month in Social Security would last much longer than in California. And to some extent, sure, but it's still expensive to live. And so we can't depend on Social Security. It's not going to be able to meet all of your needs. It's just not. It was never, actually, it was never designed to do that. It was designed to help, to bridge a gap and to take care of you in your old age, but not to cover all of your expenses. It never was. So I just want you to think about that because we're going to keep talking about things every single week about ways to prepare yourself for the future. Because, like I said, it's coming up much quicker than you think it will. So, once again, I'm so glad that you joined me for Get Your Money Right. I'm so appreciative of your time and your willingness to explore what's going to happen in the future, putting money away for your life. So, everybody, thanks again. This is Yvonne, and we'll see you next time, okay? Bye bye.